Miami, Florida. I grew up there and then I moved up to Melbourne, Florida, which is a small beach town on the central coast of eastern Florida. It's a very slow lifestyle. You kind of just like take each day as it comes. Miami was really cool because before my brother came along, I'm a little bit older than my brother, I only had cousins, so I like hung out with them like they were my sisters. So a lot of family, a lot of good food. I moved to New York a few years ago. I was there for about 5 years and I went there for conservatory. And I thought at the time that I wanted to do musical theater. So I was in New York doing that, but I realized my true passion was music, and I was noticing the industry wasn't as happening in New York as it was in LA, so I ended up moving out here. But definitely I had some of the best, most formative years of my life in New York, and I think that influences my songwriting a lot. I first started just writing music and like getting in with any producer that would take me. Like a lot of my friends were trying to produce in the same way that I was trying to be an artist, so we would collaborate together. And that was what I was doing for a while until I realized I had a side job reviewing music actually at a music publication. And that's when I really realized, oh, like I have to work with somebody with a name to really open doors for me and to create like the type of quality music. You know, even if my song is a solid song without an amazing production behind it, I'm not gonna actually break into the industry. So that's when I started interviewing producers and trying to see who I could work with, and it's finally today, literally today, landed me at working with PJ Bianco. He's amazing. He's worked with a lot of artists that I admire, like the Jonas Brothers, Demi Lovato, JoJo, one of my faves from the early 2000s. Obsessed with her. And yeah, like just like you would date somebody, I interviewed producers, like 20 different producers, and I finally got to PJ, and he's amazing, and I'm super grateful to be working with him. My music is still developing, so it's always changing and evolving, but I think that it very much comes from all of my influences. I've always loved pop. I've loved every like pop diva of the early 2000s. Hilary Duff was my girl back then. So I think that's definitely like a base level, is just pop in general and just solid pop writing where it's simple and you can connect to a lot of people, but you're telling a unique story. But I definitely also have other influences, like I love classic rock. My dad like was listening to Led Zeppelin, yeah. I love Led Zeppelin, Strokes obviously, a bunch of different artists there. And then also my Latin roots, I really hope to integrate that into my music as well. I grew up listening to Gloria Estefan. Low-key, I went to preschool with her daughter, and like one of my aunts used to make her dresses. So I really look up to her, and she's another like pop female powerhouse. Growing up, we would always go down to the Keys. My family had property down there, and we would play like all of the old-timey like Cuban music, Juan Taravea and everything. We'd all dance, play dominoes and stuff. So definitely that is kind of like the soundtrack of my childhood, and I definitely want to integrate it into my music now, probably by rhythm, because I think that's the best thing about Latin music is like the vibrant rhythm. It just makes you want to dance, and that's what I want to do with my music. In 5 years, I hope to have an album out. I'm doing singles right now because it's a little bit more digestible for a new audience, since I'm still growing my audience. But I hope to have an album out in 5 years, and in 10 years, I hope to play some big shows. Like my biggest passion, even though I love writing music and recording and the process of developing as an artist, my biggest passion is performing. And so I went to Coachella a few weeks ago, and my dream would be to like perform there, to be on tour with a bigger artist, supporting them, and eventually to have my own tour, and hopefully influencing the new generation. I'm doing a single right now with PJ, and hopefully that'll be listened to by many with PR and marketing and whatnot. We're doing a really cool music video as well, and really my big goal, because I'm lucky enough to have an audience on Instagram, they are constantly, you know, engaged and telling me that they want to hear me, they want to hear more music and stuff. So my plan is just to keep up with what they want. I've only really been pursuing music for about a year, and since then, biggest thing I've learned is like nothing's gonna get handed to you, no matter how hard you work, no matter if you deserve it. You've got a beautiful voice. There's a ton of talent out there. And so there's no like real rhyme or reason, I feel like, who rises to the top. So I think, first of all, being in it for your enjoyment of music and wanting to share yourself and your story with the world, I think that's the most important thing. And then just, being really cautious about, promises and stuff. Like, people can promise you the world, and they will promise you the world in LA in this industry. Doesn't mean they're always going to come through with it. So the only person that you need to expect to come through for yourself at the end of the day is yourself. And even though I'm really fortunate to be working with a great team right now, I know at the end of the day that if I don't rise to the occasion and create the best song, and if I'm not as open and available to writing something really honest as I can be, I'm not going to succeed. So I think fully relying on yourself and then building your team is really important too, even though it's kind of a juxtaposition to what I said. I am so lucky I met my manager, Jeff. He has a company called All Star Music LA. He is the best. He's always in my corner, and it's really nice to be able to find people that you fully trust. So I'm just starting now to develop that, and it's really weird at first because you're like, why would this person just inherently want to support me and help me succeed? And it's because you believe in yourself. That's the first thing. Just naturally, when you come from a family of immigrants, you work your ass off. It's just a thing. Not to say that other people don't, but I mean, my dad worked really hard to get to where he is, and he's instilled that same work ethic in me. So I think that that's part of it. I hope to be a great representative for the Cuban community. There's not enough people with a platform out there yet from Cuba, and I hope to add on to that. There's Camila Cabello killing it out there, Gloria Estefan was killing it, and I hope to just add to that and create a platform for them. And I think by just speaking out about my culture and my heritage, I think that that'll hopefully contribute to my success, because there's a lot of Cuban Americans out there that want to see themselves represented.